Hey guys, welcome back to the Tiny P podcast. I'm Connor, this is my co-host Vince, and this is our third co-host, Tiny P. And if I catch Tyler Goodson lacking in the streets, it is on site to start. We'll get to that later, but first, we have a full plate for you guys today. We're going to go Keenan Allen signing. Vince attended joint practice both days this week.
That's right.
I was not there. He was there to cover it, and then he was out of town this weekend, and I was there to cover the preseason game. I was really happy to get back to Lucas Oil. So we're going to cover all that, and we're going to start with the Keenan Allen signing. So, Mr. Vince, Mr. Analyst, what are your thoughts on bringing in a receiver to this young and depleted group?
Yeah, well, I think my initial thoughts were that this could be indicative about Alec Pierce's health and maybe the potential depth concerns that we have internally about this roster. Nonetheless, even if Alec Pierce is out there, I think you're getting a guy who has experience in Shane Steichen's offense for several seasons. He's going to be a third down specialist, a reliable target, big body receiver. He's going to get in the middle of the field and be physical, which I think can only help you. I do hope he doesn't take Josh Downs' wide receiver 2 reps, especially in our 2 receiver sets, and I don't think he will. I don't think that's even in question at this point.
Especially how Josh has looked so far. I mean, the clips came out from camp. I'm not a big clip farming guy. A lot of crap has come out about Sauce and some of his reps that are lost, and then he'll win every other rep and they just won't post it. So I'm not. That's why I brought Vince has the inside scoop on how the entirety of the practices look. But as far as Keenan Allen goes, I think a lot of Colts fans are expecting him to just step in and be Michael Pittman, but they have completely different games.
They do,
you know what
yeah.
I mean? So Vince mentioned to me earlier this week, because I said, I hope he isn't washed, and Vince said, well, I kind of hope he's a little washed just so he doesn't take Josh Downs' role as wide receiver 2, which I agree with. And he's just really to me, I want him to be a third down specialist. I want him somebody who just cheeses third downs and gets open on third downs. So if you remember, he had a big game against us last year. I have the stats right here. Against us last year, he had 11 catches for 119 yards, average was 10.8 a pop, and a touchdown against us. He converted 3 third downs. Obviously, he's not going to have 119 yards every week against us with us and a touchdown, but consistently getting open on third down is really what I hope to get out of this signing. So,
well, definitely, it looks like last season he got 122 targets, which that's quite a bit of targets, really, for a 33-year-old receiver. Now he's gonna be 34.
Part of that's Justin Herbert, though, is his reps and chemistry with Justin Herbert. So.
Well, definitely, and that's the thing is he can take a much lesser role here. I thought he looked like he was in pretty good shape, and we'll talk a little bit about the things he did in practice. But yeah, pretty exciting signing for sure.
Career low in yards per catch last year. Does that worry you a little bit?
A little bit. I mean, he doesn't have a lot of pop after catch. It looks like yards after catch per reception was also a career low at 2.9 yards after catch. So he's not going to do a lot of damage after the catch. He's just going to be someone who, like you say, he's going to run on third down a curl route or maybe a slant and catch the ball over a linebacker or something, be physical. That's the kind of things that you can expect from him.
Yeah, I want to emphasize to Colts fans too. Well, 2 things. I want to emphasize, one, that it's great that Shane Steichen has a level of comfortability play calling with this guy. That's going to go a long way in terms of success of the offense. Reggie Wayne being his coach, similar kind of play styles towards that stage of their career. You know
That's
what I mean?
a great point as well. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So think of him as Reggie in the Luck years kind of role on this offense. But he is not Michael Pittman. I want to stress that. Michael Pittman is more physical. Even though Keenan is 6'2", Keenan plays a little smaller than he is. I think Pittman uses all of his 6'4". Pittman's a better blocker, so Pittman takes those reps on first and second down when we're running the ball. Keenan's not going to do that. Okay. Not a great jump ball guy.
Right.
like Pittman is, and Pittman's a little better after the catch. Not to say that in terms of their careers, obviously Keenan's had a better career than Michael Pittman.
Right.
It almost sounds like I'm saying Pittman's like a better receiver than him. I'm saying at this point in his career, don't expect him to come in and be Michael Pittman. They're completely different receivers at this point in their career. So I want Colts fans to realize that as we go forward. But I still really love the signing. I still am very high on the signing. Who do you think this is what I was thinking about this week, and I didn't mention you. Who do you think it slides out of a roster spot?
Ooh, that's interesting, putting me on the spot there. I mean, I think like you're probably going down a specialist like Gold or someone like that. Let's just take a look here.
So they had Deion Burks. Gold was active in the preseason game. They had Deion Burks returning kicks,
right?
Which makes me think Gold kind of slides off the roster now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I think so.
Because that's his specialty is kick returning.
Right.
That's why he was on the roster the past couple of years.
And maybe that's who it's going to be then.
Yeah, so we got Pierce, Keenan, Josh Downs. Doolin's going to make the roster. I don't see a world that where Westbrook or Keenan doesn't make the roster. That's
he's
five.
going to make the roster for sure.
And then it's either really Deion Burks or Treadwell goes for that 6th spot.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning Burks, so.
Yeah, I'd probably hope for the excitement aspect that it's Burks.
Yeah, we're going to do, next week we're going to do a 53-man roster prediction. I want to get into that now. It's interesting, like, people always forget the aspect of, like, okay, we slide Keenan in, that means one guy's sliding out, so.
Yeah.
Okay, Vince went to joint practice. I want to let Vince kind of riff here on his coach riffs he does.
All right, yeah.
What were some of your takeaways from joint practice?
Yeah, so it's a joint practice against the Falcons. The first session, that was 11-on-11, was like a run-heavy session. I almost thought of this as more like a 4 minutes left, you're up 2 scores, and like where it's acceptable to pass the ball, but you're primarily looking to run the ball. Our run game over these past couple of days against the Falcons was not very good. We struggled with gap scheme, even our zone schemes, particularly on the right side without Quentin Nelson and Bernard Ryman leading the way. There's going to be some things to clean up there. Ultimately, I do trust that the Colts will figure that out. Shane Steichen, his run game, Jonathan Taylor, eventually, like we're just going to get it popping. But passing the ball wise, Deion Jones is very sharp. The whole day he was 14 for 14 is what was reported. That's also the number that I came to. Hitting guys on crossers, on hitches, being on time. It was really good. We ran a lot of the same stuff that I talked about that I was expecting us to run. A lot of the play action, a lot of the throwback screens, a lot of the slow screens. I still don't think we're going to be a wide perimeter screen type of team. I don't think we're going to just sling the ball out to Josh Downs or Alec Pierce. I don't think that's in the.
I don't know if we have the speed for that.
I don't think so either. I just don't think that's part of our game at this point.
Like Pierce has the speed for that, but is that in his game?
He never uses it after catch, unless there's something we don't know. But a little RPO stuff to Doolin in the flat. Doolin, to give you an idea, took a bunch of the Alec Pierce roles in the offense. We even saw Seth get in there. Seth McGowan, the backup running back, he gets in, catches a swing route.
How are you feeling about Seth right now?
I think he looks good. I think we've talked about how he could be possibly compared to like a Zach Moss type player. We haven't had a backup running back in the past we've trusted these past couple of years. Since Zach Moss. So if he can give us something close to that right off the bat,
definitely not Tyler Goodson.
Much appreciated.
Definitely not Tyler.
Yeah.
He's gonna catch him straight.
He's gonna catch him straight as this episode.
So the thing with Seth though is he runs hard. He falls forward. I like that. I want to see him get a bigger load of carries, and where's DJ Giddens falling out? That's are they battling it out, or is Seth just kind of taking the reins as far as you've seen practice?
I saw Giddens.
Or is he hurt?
Giddens still has the hamstring. He was running around practice a little bit, trying to test out that hamstring. He still looks like a running back who could, be involved at some point, but maybe in a specialized role, we do go with like a Seth or something like that, because I don't think it's like Giddens is giving you some third down, advantage.
The reason I asked that is because JT played over 80% of the running back snaps this year. I don't think at this point in his career that's realistic, nor do we want it to be realistic. I would like that to be cut down a little bit to save him more long term, especially because we just signed a deal with him. So I'm really invested in this backup running back situation we have going on.
Certainly, so. Yeah. Because we've talked about many times now that the Jonathan Taylor carries, we'd like to see him go down at some point to keep him fresh for a potential playoff run, because that's such a big part of football, really. But Daniel Jones goes 5 of 6 and 7 on 7. 7 on 7 is pretty typical. Another thing too that I was going to mention, you mentioned Sauce earlier. When you're doing one-on-ones with receivers and DBs, I mean, it's a tremendous advantage to the offense, and I hope people realize that. But Josh Downs excels on 7 on 7 and in one-on-ones. His route running's crisp. Doolin was also pretty good route running wise. He looks like he's been there before. Everyone else though kind of struggles to get open. It's kind of what we've expected though, so nothing new there. Then you have a huge session where the Falcons, the whole team comes over and you do like 25 minutes of like an actual scrimmage, where you're actually going to move the ball, have some things that are simulated, but the coaches want to see the starters out there doing their thing. So we throw the ball to Mallory because Tyler Warren hurt his groin. I knew that right away. Came up gingerly. Looks like it's not going to be a big deal.
Can I interject real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, with the Tyler Warren thing too. Obviously the injury's not going to be a big deal, and I think I saw on the rounds of Twitter how everybody's making a big thing about Mallory's taking the number one role as far as receiver goes. This is how it kind of is at tight end in the NFL. It's not just like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you have specific roles for specific tight ends now. Okay, you get receiving from Mallory. Okay, you get blocking from Mo. We've seen a little bit of receiving from Drew, but he's more so a blocker at this point. Drew Ogletree, that is. And then Warren's both. So Warren's the guy for both right now because he's so versatile in so many ways. But when he goes down, the natural successor to the receiving reps, the receiving sets, the receiving or the passing plays that we call, is Mallory. Okay, so it's not just like at this point in Mo's career, he's not going to take the receiving reps of Tyler Warren.
You're telling me he's not going to line up in a 2-point stance?
No, he's not. He's an absolute tree at this point in his career. And it makes me wonder if we're even gonna keep Drew. Drew is young. Yeah, Drew's young. Mo is a little older, obviously. So is Drew the successor to Mo as our go-to blocking tight end? But do we have to cut him because Will has looked so good in this receiving role, and we kind of need him on receiving downs, especially if Tyler Warren goes down. We can't afford to cut him because somebody will certainly swoop in and pick him up. So that just leaves, it's like, do we keep 4 tight ends? Do we cut one and hope somebody doesn't sign him and keep them on the practice squad? So
spoiler alert, I think we might keep 4. But you've also raised a question too, and I think it's a legitimate one, that even if you do decide to cut Drew Ogletree, how hard is it to maybe find a Mo Alley Cox replacement in the future, just as their blocking tight end? But like we said, like where you line people up, that stuff really matters. We had a couple plays blown up, some penalties, it looks like.
We also have penalties in the preseason game. That's something to look for.
It might be.
It's frustrating. Yeah. It's
been a little bit of a trend. But the highlight was definitely a deep seam or a post to Downs in the deep middle of the field. Downs would have either maybe gotten lit up by the safety, maybe he would have even been able to slip free of him. It was kind of hard to tell. But it would have been good for about 45 yards, and it was a very nice play. And then on defense, this is really the time to shine.
Day 2, right?
No, this is still day 1. This is the Falcons' ones in the scrimmage versus our ones. Okay. Getting Sauce out there, DeForest, all our ones out there. So for one, I know we don't talk about a lot of other teams on this, but I do gotta give Bijan a shout out. He is probably one of the best athletes I've ever seen in person. I mean, this guy is just otherworldly, the way he.
I've seen him play. I've seen him play before, so yeah.
Yeah,
I agree.
Definitely. So he catches a screen, and then the very next play, Tua, who had a really rough day, throws a pick 6 to Wally, gets a nice break on the ball. The whole sideline goes nuts. We had Tua running around for his life at one point because we seemed to disguise things really well against him. We did kind of the same thing we did against the Dolphins, where we brought Latu in coverage to take away the quick windows. And if Tua doesn't have a quick window, he seems to really panic. So
good job on Lou. Good job on Lou.
Lou did a nice job coaching it up in this session. We definitely won. I mean, all in all, our ones objectively beat their ones, and from what I saw.
Sweet.
But the next day is shoulder practice, so it won't take too long. But the red zone session, just a lot of run work. Seems that maybe Shane is getting a little frustrated about the run game and trying to work it. See, and maybe not even being frustrated, but it's like if you're struggling with something, like now's the time where you're going to really work it. So, but again, with no Warren, we targeted Mallory a few times. That went okay. Daniel was like 4 of 6 and 11 on 11s, and then I think 2 of 4 in 7 on 7.
Why do you only throw 4 passes in 7 on 7?
I think maybe just for the load, aspect of it, the workload, and getting them some rest. Maybe the special teams work too took a little longer. The second joint practice was only an hour and a half. The first one was 2 hours, which I thought was pretty interesting. I don't remember if that's how it's always been. We could talk about another joint practice story when joint practices used to be a little more physical, if we have time.
Yeah.
But in the one, and then to close the practice, like the full team session where, the Falcons come over to our side and it's a full on scrimmage. You do a 1-minute drill, you're repping, they explain it pretty thoroughly that you're down by 1 point. So you're trying to get in a field goal range because people got mad that we weren't trying to score a touchdown. And I was like, well, if you pay attention, that is not the point of the drill. But, this drill was a little bit of a bailout. We didn't do a whole lot right, but then we try to hit downs in a deep corner, and we get a bailout pass interference. So that advanced us all the way to the other side of the field, and then we just ran a couple run plays, and then we just ran the clock down, contact, kicked the field. So it's kind of a weak drill, honestly. But defense, this is where things get really interesting from a schematic standpoint. Tua got the ball to midfield pretty easily. Then he goes incomplete on first down. And then Lou said, I'm going to run cover 0. We're going to play everyone at the line of scrimmage. Extremely risky. But seeing these guys press, and mind you, we didn't even have Mooney Ward, Sauce Gardner, and Wally out there. We're jamming, getting up in the receivers' faces. We got after Tua. We did that 2 plays in a row. He had to throw it away. And then on the third one, again, everyone's at the line, but except for Sauce, Bynum, and Wally, I think, on the other boundary. And you were running some either cover 3 where you're just all out blitzing, or possibly another, variation of cover 0, but having the corners with different leverage. But Tua was completely panicked. He threw some prayers, like he threw a prayer fade. But then just crazy amounts of pressure. It seemed like they really couldn't handle it. So
let's say more about our defense though, or Tua. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean that's definitely part of it. I mean, Lou Anarumo definitely seems to have Tua figured out from last year. When we held him to 8 points. Completely different system, I suppose, with Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Rees. Integrating a new system. But
so in the preseason game, Stefanski ran a lot of boots that we struggled with, which I'll talk about later. But did he do that in practice against our ones?
A little bit. Honestly, I thought a lot of their stuff was similar to ours. Trying to get Bijan Robinson involved. We tried to throw a throwback screen to Jonathan Taylor. They threw a throwback screen to Bijan Robinson. That seems like pretty good offense. But yeah, still a lot of under center stuff. Like you said, I think there's definitely parts of the influence for Kevin Stefanski or the Shanahan influence and going under center and running outside zone play action.
So overall, did you have a good experience?
It was a lot of fun. It was a
first time by yourself.
I don't know if that's the first time. I've gone by myself before at least once, but yeah, it was fun. It was fun to get out there.
Last time in Westfield
was cool. And last time in Westfield, which we've tried to
not fans about.
We're not fans.
We can talk about a couple of stories. I just couldn't make it this week because of work, but we've been to a bunch of joint practices together. Some notable stories are our favorite story is it was when Luck hurt and Eason was taking reps.
It was Wentz was hurt.
Wentz was hurt, yeah.
Yes.
Wentz was hurt. And I don't know if you guys remember. Yeah. Jacob Eason was taking first team reps because Wentz was hurt. And I kid you not, when the ones got out there, this is with the Panthers, joint practice with the Panthers. When they did 11 on 11 versus the ones, there was like 3 fights in 4 plays, or something crazy like that. And both coaches had to like interject and tell everybody to like cut it out, like cut that shit out. Like we're done with that. And like it's fine to like, you want your guys to be competitive, you want your guys to be, but when it started getting in the way of practice time,
and it did eventually, they had to pull the ones.
They had to pull the ones and like literally calm everybody down. They put the ones right back in, and Jonathan Taylor has the angriest run I've ever seen him run in my life, including in game, right?
It really might have been.
Yeah, he absolutely pile drives. Was it Shaq Thompson?
It was Shaq Thompson.
Shaq Thompson straight into the dirt, and you could hear the pads like throughout the entire campus of Westfield. Like,
the cool thing about being at camp, is it's a little bit quieter. You're closer to the field, so you could hear the pads pop. And
everybody goes, ooh.
This did not sound like anything I've ever heard. It sounded like you just clap your hands together. It's just extremely loud, and he depleted Shaq Thompson.
Bad.
It was
really embarrassing.
Cool
I had a secondhand embarrassment.
But to give you an idea now, like with most starting running backs that I see around the NFL, like they're not taking these guys to the ground at all. Really.
That wasn't even that long ago. The Wentz
year.
Is it 2021?
21. Yeah. So just 5 years ago.
There's a couple. I'll like give you the spark notes on these. The Lions one was fun. We went to both days of that. We caught passes from Jamal Williams.
That was cool. Yeah.
That was cool. He was nice.
Was
Jared Goff, that was Jared Goff's first year in the Lions. I think it was Dan Campbell's first year as coach.
It was, yeah. So you get to kind of see the foundation of what he was building.
Yeah, and somebody, usually you talk, like the UA fans will talk trash to the opposing players, but one of the Colts fans was like, "Have a good season, Jared," and Jared was like, "Thank you." It was
very polite.
It was a very polite moment.
Yeah,
in a cruel, mean sport. So.
Right. That was kind of nice to see.
And then lastly, I'll bring up, was it the Bears? It's a special teams drill.
Oh yeah,
do you remember that?
Yeah, that was really funny. Yeah,
they're doing a punt drill, which is way too physical and they spent way too long of a time on. I thought it was unnecessary. But one of the Bears like backup corners like takes Doolin and like holds him and throws him out of bounds like super dirty and this is practicing like gunner stuff for punts, special team stuff like that. And the Colts were not happy about it. So Kenny Moore, who has like not had his helmet on, like he's not doing this drill. Kenny Moore is not a special teamer, right? And he puts his helmet on, and they get another guy. I forget who the other corner was.
Yeah,
but
someone else.
They double this guy when it's this guy's turn to be the gunner. He threw Doolin out of bounds.
So it's payback time.
Yeah, it's payback time, and they take this guy and literally like lift him up in the air and throw him out of bounds on the Colts bench. And the entire Colts bench is like standing over talking smack.
And that wasn't it either. The returner runs by. The guy gets back up, and Kenny Moore pushes him down when he's not looking.
Yeah, again. Yeah, and then Michael Pittman starts doing
they're all everyone.
It was bad. Yeah,
it was incredible. That was so fun.
Yeah, that was fun. And me and you were like loud, like giggling. But if you ever get a chance to go to joint practice, go. It is definitely worth it. I'd say Vince
definitely
can attest to that this year. I really wish it just didn't work out for me this go around, but that was awesome. So thank you for your journalism, Mr. Fox.
Thank you.
Okay, we can go into the preseason game. I attended. I'll be dropping like a mini vlog. I went with my wife, so wife reveal if you want to see Sarah. But I was going to do winners and losers like I did last week. There was no winners for the Colts really this week other than maybe Spencer Schrader. I think might have put himself in the driving seat of this kicking battle. Vince told me he was getting outperformed by Blake at camp. However, he comes out and he starts the game. He's the first kicker to start, right? We get a 4th and 2 on our second drive of the game, in a spot where Shane Steichen in the regular season would always go for it, and he decides to kick it. So I think that was because I think he almost preferred Spencer, in my honest opinion. That's an opinion, but he gives Shane the opportunity to make the kick, which he does, and then he comes out and he convincingly drills a 53-yard field goal, and then I don't think he missed his spots on his kickoffs either. So I was talking to Vince earlier this week. This is an underrated part of this kicking competition is where does the special team coach want to put the ball on kickoffs with this new kickoff rule we have in the NFL? Not new, but it was new last year. And who's doing it better? Is Blake putting it in better spots or is Spencer putting it in better spots? So,
what's the way to do it? Maybe to explain to the audience who doesn't know.
Obviously you can't kick it in the end zone now. Touchbacks go to 35-yard line,
yes,
which is dangerous. So you kick it to like the 3 in the corner, and
then you
kind of
run
just
to the corner.
Yeah, everybody run to the corner, and you kind of just surround him and put him in a coffin, so he doesn't have a chance to escape. And I think Spencer was doing that. I think Spencer was just doing his job. So, other than that, I don't think there's a real winner. This team just looked bad. Vince said our ones were pretty convincing, but our 2s and our 3s were definitely not. And one thing I want to, before I do a little more review, do you think you were talking about how dangerous the depth is on this roster? The ones were winning, as you said in practice. But what's your concern with the depth?
Yeah, so I think a big takeaway from this game is that there is a very distinct path in my mind for this team to be successful, and that is the guys that are good on this team have to stay healthy. And I know, like,
which is
that seems
scary, which is a scary thought.
And like, but it can almost appear obvious. It's like, but like, let's just walk through it. Alec Pierce probably needs 75 catches, 1,200 yards. Tyler Warren needs 80 or 90 catches maybe.
And those two need touchdowns.
And you need touchdowns too to pair along with it.
Like, we can't have JT get 20 every year. That's not realistic.
But also with, like, you know, just the quality of work, like Sauce Gardner probably needs to be an all-pro for this to be like a good season. Would you say, like, if he ends up with this season where you're like, oh, like, he was pretty good, like, that probably means we underperformed as a defense.
Mm-hmm. Wally needs to be Kenny Moore's replacement.
Right,
like
exactly.
Yeah,
like,
so.
These people have shoes to fill, and like, you're kind of expecting a lot. DeForest Buckner needs to play as many games as possible. I know he's going to miss some games. He will. He's an older player.
Yeah.
But when he's out there, he needs to dominate. And then obviously, like, Jonathan Taylor and Daniel Jones's health is pivotal. So yeah, I walk away from this preseason game very scared, but obviously we'll go into, like,
and first of all, I want to rant before I get into, like, the nitty gritty of it. Tyler Warren, I will kill you. I'm so mad. Tyler Warren. Sorry, I love Tyler Warren. I will not kill you, Tyler Warren. Tyler Goodson. Tyler Goodson. 6 carries for 59 yards and a touchdown with a 49-yard rushing touchdown. He's never ran that hard in his life. If you're new to this, he's been the Colts' backup for a couple third or second running back for a couple years now. For some reason, Shane Steichen has had a fetish to throw him the ball in the flat, and he never delivers. Okay, so obviously his first go around with the Colts, his rookie season, we put him in the biggest spot of his life, and he drops the pass, which is right in front of my seats. So if you go check out our TikTok at Tiny Peyton Pod, you'll see where my seats are at when I post the game day vlog. That was right in front of me when Gardner Minshew threw it to the flat. And I don't want to deep dive into that. We can do that another time. But that was right in front of our seats, and he dropped that pass.
Last game of the season.
He converts that. We have a good shot to go to the playoffs, right? Was it a perfect pass? No. But Tyler Goodson should have made that play. And we all felt bad for you, Tyler, when you cried in your post-game presser. We're like, oh, young player, like, makes biggest mistake of his life on the biggest stage of his life. And we felt bad for you at the time. And then you come out, you drop that touchdown, you let it hit you in the face against the Texans. You remember that?
That was the Anthony Tap-Out game.
Yeah, the Anthony Tap-Out game. He lets another season, right? Now we were very much in contention for the AFC title, sorry. I'm just on a rant right now, I'm pissed. The AFC South title. And he drops it again because for some reason Shane loves throwing to him, right? He comes out in this preseason game. I've never seen him run that fast. That 49-yard touchdown, I've never seen him run that fast in my life. He does this stupid dance, and then he gets a penalty for taunting our sideline as if we were the ones who wronged him. Okay? You wronged us.
Yeah, we stood by you.
Yeah. We could have let you... They should have let you walk after you dropped that pass and finished our season. We kept you on the team for 2 more years. Okay, so that makes me mad. Secondly, shout out to Jack Strand. He played really well, rocking 18. He looked like this guy out there, just dicing us up. He goes 12 for 17, 212, a touchdown in the air, and then he has another, 9 for 22 with a truck touchdown on the ground.
Yeah, the Falcons got a D2 quarterback.
D2 just absolutely dicing us up.
That guy.
Yeah, he looks better than Tua, better than Penix, better than Cooper Rush. He's looking good right now. They were just getting chunk plays after chunk plays. Like I said, those bootlegs, they've spammed the bootleg, especially with Cooper Rush early in the game. And we just had no answer. And I was embarrassed. Mekhi Blackmon is playing his way off this team right now. One guy who is looking half decent, let me pull up the depth chart, sorry. Carter, I'm just forgetting his first name right now. Rob Carter Jr., he's looked better than Jonathan Edwards. He's looked better than Mekhi Blackmon. He's got the body build of a slot corner, which Mekhi Blackmon is right now technically the backup nickel. So he blew up some plays against the Patriots. So, I mean, he can be physical. If he wants Mekhi Blackmon or Jonathan Edwards' job, he can have it at this point. So he's an undrafted free agent rookie. He can have it. He's been fine. Jonathan Owens didn't look that good. As much as I want to see Simone Biles, it's my dog, sorry about that. As much as I want to see Simone Biles on the sideline cheering on her husband every game, like, Jonathan, you got to make the roster first. So he missed a tackle bad on that Tyler Goodson long run. I saw some people were liking Cam Taylor-Britt's playing time, his reps in this game. I didn't. That goal line touchdown that we should have stuck him up on, he just whiffed. He gave up another big play in the pass. He's already on my bad list for being suspended for the first game. So this cornerback depth again was something, or even DB depth. Hunter Wohler missed a couple tackles. You're supposed to be the guy who makes tackles in the secondary. This DB depth is not looking good early in the year. And as Vince said this earlier, and I want you to talk about this more, there are guys sitting that should not be sitting on this team. You have not earned the right to sit in preseason games yet. Like, who are you talking about?
Well, this is interesting. I was thinking about this recently, and it's like, we do sit our players in the preseason, even though you do see Josh Allen played and threw like 12 or 14 balls, and that doesn't mean Daniel Jones has to play. He's coming off of an injury.
That's different, a different circumstance.
So there's different circumstances, but I'm going to ask the questions like, who are the guys that could benefit from some reps? Quentin Nelson, no. Bernard Ryman, the starting franchise left tackle, probably not. But
we don't want Jonathan Taylor playing it. Like, we don't want him getting touched.
That's probably the best example there is. There's no reason to add hits to any of those guys' workloads. But take Tanner Bortolini, Matt Goncalves. They haven't been on a playoff team yet. Versus like Jonathan Taylor and Quentin Nelson. At least they can say they played on a playoff team.
Yeah.
Tanner Bortolini, Matt Goncalves. Maybe they can learn a couple things. But get
even Josh Downs getting a couple runs out there.
Yeah, maybe even Josh Downs trying out some things in an expanded role.
Have him play X or Y.
Right. Have him run some of the routes that maybe he's going to be asked to run for the first time this year with no more Pittman. But and again, I'm more than willing to be wrong about this topic. I'm sure there could be some strategy that I'm not aware of. But I do see teams around the NFL playing more veterans than we do, and I do not appreciate the look of us going out against the Falcons and putting up a stinker like this. Is anyone going to overreact to
preseason
in August? No.
It just makes me worry about what you said about staying healthy. So.
But let's take another player who maybe can, try a couple new techniques out and see how it goes. Latu, and he's developing well. I'm not throwing shade at Latu. He's a really
we like it. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, he's progressing very well. Maybe he'd benefit from some reps. I don't know. I mean, is there a reason he's not playing? Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this.
Comment down below who should be playing in these preseason. Who should be getting reps?
I think Justin Wally would benefit from
Yeah, Justin Wally hasn't
played.
He hasn't played on an NFL field yet in a real game.
Yeah. So
I know he's looked good in practice. Yeah, but come on. I did want to talk about the quarterbacks real quick. Riley. No, to be fair, they were running for their lives. They didn't have time to breathe. I felt personally, I felt bad for both of them. But still under the circumstances, you're under a microscope in a QB2 battle. So we got to talk about it. Riley didn't look good. 7 for 14, 62 yards, 0-0. He made a good throw. They got called back for is the only like big play the Colts had all day. DJ Montgomery got called for offensive push-off, offensive pass interference. Got called back. 1 rush for 2 yards. He was, when there was pressure in his face, he kept missing low. I think 3 or 4 times he was missing low when there was pressure in his face. Anthony, second half, 3 for 9, 24 yards. Now, 2 drops. One of them was bad. He hit the guy right. He hit the guy right in the numbers, drops it. So, I mean, sorry, Anthony. He looked good scrambling. He had 3 for 15. However, one of those was a crazy one where he shrugged off a 300-pound lineman. We know Anthony can do this. Got a first down out of it. He got 7 yards out of it, but I think he ran like a total probably 35 yards.
That is something I don't think people talk about it enough. And Anthony has plenty of flaws to his game, but maybe the most consistent thing that he can bank on is that he is very difficult to sack because of how strong he is and how athletic he is and how big he is.
His unsackability is definitely by far one of his best traits.
Unsackability.
So,
that's a great word.
Yeah. So Coleman Owen has the only big play of the day, 1 for 39. He's not going to make the roster. I don't even have anything against him. He's been fine for us in preseason, and he's a good, I guess, practice body to have. But your one big play being Coleman Owen is not something you want to shout from the rooftops about. Castle, 8 for 41, okay. Nothing stood out to me on defense. Actually, maybe we had Bryce and Jalen, the linebackers, both get TFLs on Saturday. I guess the linebacking core. CJ Allen started the game. He didn't really do much. He came out after a couple drives. That's not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just, I think it's a net negative for him. He's still the starting guy in my opinion. Other than that, Austin had a TFL as well. So this young linebacker core is played well this preseason, but other than that, like the secondary, like they're just, especially late in the game when we got on our heels, we were just not tackling. And they were letting guys fall forward for like 5 extra yards. It was a bad showing. And I know, again, a lot of it, like I'm looking at this list of guys on defense right now. How many guys are going to be on the actual roster? Probably very little, as far as I'm concerned. But the guys that are still didn't play well, which is a problem. So, Deion Burks had a couple catches. Again, I'm a big fan of his. He's not ready to get consistent reps in the NFL as far as I'm concerned, unless you have an opinion otherwise.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we saw that. I think that's telling too with the Jalen got some. He's playing himself into a job. 1 sack came from Cameron Ball. That was on a scramble too. He just happened to tackle him behind the line of scrimmage. So other than that, there just really wasn't any winners or losers. The winners though, I would say the fans. I think Lucas Oil. Everybody seemed really happy to be there. You'll see that on my mini vlog I made, but people were genuinely happy to be back in the building. There's a couple changes at the building. They have a couple grab-and-go stations that they added. They painted my section, like the entrance to my section, which feels a little weird. That green Huntington Bank area, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's a Verizon area now. It's not green anymore.
Interesting.
So, a couple changes. It was really good to be back at the stadium. It felt good. I just wish we left the building with a better taste in our mouths. Again, I'm not going to overreact over a preseason mishap or failure, but
and we still have one more preseason.
We do. Yes.
We're probably going to play some starters.
Yes.
So let's see who actually shows up.
But yeah, big takeaway. Tyler Good said, "I'm not happy with you, pal." So yeah. So do you have anything else you want to add, Mr.
I don't
Benz?
think so. I think we're about ready to tap out.
Yeah.
We've already referenced it once today.
Yeah, we have. I hope you enjoyed this. We had a good time this week. Next week's the week. I think I'm gonna do a raw reaction at my prep period at work. I think I'm gonna do a raw reaction to the rivalries review, that rivalries jersey reveal that comes out on Tuesday. So exciting. I think I'm gonna record my raw reaction to that and put it on TikTok. Again, follow us on all socials at Tiny Peyton Pod. Please like this video. You guys did a good job of liking the last one, and
don't forget to subscribe.
Yeah, subscribe. You guys did a good job of liking, and we really appreciate that. Also, comment. That helps the algorithm too. Let us know your thoughts. If you want to tell us we're wrong, tell us we're wrong.
We're all here for it.
Yeah, we're all here for it. This is a community. We're part of the community of Colts fans. So I'm Connor. This is Vince. This is Tiny P, and this has been episode 4 of the Tiny Peyton podcast. So stay tuned for the next episode. We appreciate it, guys. Love you. See ya.